Hey, welcome back. Today's Thursday. We made it to Thursday. Good job. So it's early. Feeding up. Got all these animals. I don't know if I've shared with you, but I've got rescues. I do rescues. Not so much anymore because my house got so full and I wasn't able to rehome them. So right now I have 5 dogs. 5 dogs and 4 cats. So I've got 3 of the cats are outdoor kitties, and then, well, there's this guy. Oh, Huckleberry. When I got Huckleberry, he was so tiny, and I have small hands, he could fit in the palm of my hand, and he almost died like 3 times, and now look at him, he's a big old boy. Come say hi. Yeah, bite me first, then say, he's not always nice, but he's turned into quite the big boy, and he can be kind of mean, and then sometimes he's sweet. He thinks he's playing, but it really hurts when he does that. Okay, go away. Before he tears me up. Now he's, he loves, his favorite thing is like knocking stuff off the counter, so I have to pick it up. But we're not going to do that this morning, sir. So right now I'm feeding the little girls. My brand of rescue is Little, so I call it my Little Dog Village. And I have a Morkie. She is part Yorkie, part Maltese, and she's my tiny girl. She's my tiny girl. She's my tiny girl. Yes, she is. And I love her. And she got on her jammies because even though they're Christmas jammies, I keep jammies on her because she has skin allergies, and if I don't, she'll chew herself up, and this helps her to not get skin infections. So, and then Lucy, and now Abby was a Christmas gift. She's not a rescue. Now Lucy, this is my tiny Chihuahua. Hey, step up, Huckleberry. She was a stray. She and another dog, they were brought into the vet's office where my daughter works, and she said, hey Mom, can you foster a couple dogs, and until we find the owners. I'm like, okay. And I got her, and I got another one. They were found on the streets and brought into the, they quit eating their food, to the vet's office. And so when I got her, she was she was an adult, but she was skinny, and I didn't know she was also pregnant. And so whatever the gestational period was, she must have just been pregnant because she was really skinny. And she had 5 puppies. No, 6 puppies. She had 6 puppies. And so that was fun. I had to find homes for all of them. And she just kind of stuck around. And so I've got her. She is a Chihuahua, but she's a Chihuahua mix. She's got something else in there that makes her so hefty. Plus I feed her too much. I don't feed her. It's not so much that I feed her. I feed her fattening stuff. Like I've got to get more healthy with her. I mean, she eats Caesar, but she eats it with a dry kibble, and I think it's the kibble that's really putting the weight on her. But with so many dogs, it's expensive just to feed them the straight wet food or partially wet food. It's hard to do. Because there's no funding for taking in homeless dogs. Hold on. Oh, there you go, Lucy. Now, Abby, she gets the straight wet food because she doesn't have very many teeth. Because she's so small, she's not that old, but, I mean, she's 7, I think now. She's getting up there, but little dogs, their mouths are so small, but their teeth are regular size, and so their teeth outgrow their mouth, and so little dogs lose their teeth. Or like for her, I've had to have them extracted And so she has to eat the wet food because she doesn't have enough teeth to deal with the kibble. Plus she also, there you go. She also has these tiny dogs like that, they have real finicky stomach. And she, in fact, she used to be on prescription food for quite a while. You gonna eat the rest of their food? You're a cat, and I don't think you should. And I already fed you, Huckleberry. He's a pig. He eats a lot. I mean, he's a big boy. He almost looks like one of those Maine Coon cats. And, I mean, he's huge. Look at him. Yeah, and he's mean. He's huge and mean. But he's my boy. I love him. So you get down. Well, I do have it. Okay, don't get down. Get back up. But you ain't having this. Sorry. Move out of the way. So then I have my boys. All my boys. Hang on. Right now, they're outside. They like to be outside. So, in August in South Georgia, they're not able to be outside as much as they would like to be. That is dog food. And so, I put them out in the mornings where they can enjoy their morning and do all their sniffing, and they have pee-pee competitions. That noise with Huckleberry knocking something off the counter that I have to pick up. That's all right. That's our little game that we play all day long. And so, anyway, for them, they get part kibble and other, we bought a rotisserie chicken. I know it's not the greatest thing for them because it has sodium. But what we do is I take it and I put it in the blender and get it small, and I put a little chicken broth in it, and I mix it in with their food to give them some yummy with their kibble. And again, I know before I get comments about kibble not being good for them, I understand that it's not. That's why I try to put other things in it that's good for them. Sometimes, it'll be vegetables, it'll be sweet potato, or whatever, I can do to make it taste good and make it a little healthier for them. But when you have this many dogs, it's kind of hard to feed them, the really expensive stuff. And they like the Caesar stuff too. But, this is what they get, and they share it. And they're not very big either. Lucy is my biggest dog, and I don't know, Oliver's, he's fat too, but kibble will make them fat. But, right now, that's just where we're at with that. So, anyway, today I'm going to be, I was telling you yesterday or the day before, whatever it was, I was going to show you some of the things that I got when I went thrifting. And let me grab some of them. And this is from a little bit earlier trip, actually from when I was at the beach. I went to the thrift place I went to, I was in staying on St. George Island, but I went to Port St. Joe. And this thing is so cute. It's missing a little kettle lid, but somebody, a lot of times when you're thrifting and reselling, it's a matter of what you buy will remind somebody, especially us, Gen Xers, baby boomers, whatever. It'll remind you of something that you had in your childhood. It's like I'm really drawn to mid-century stuff because it's what my mom had when I was growing up. And so when you pick up things that are vintage and older, and even if it's not in the best shape, it resonates with people and they'll buy it. Like I could see somebody taking this and putting a plant in it. Not me, because I kill plants, but somebody would. And so I thought he was cute. And then when you buy stuff at the thrift store, I take obviously I take my phone with me, but I look stuff up to see, because I'm not a brand name person. I don't wear brand name. I don't buy brand name. I buy what I like. I don't care where it's from or whose name is on it. But for thrifting purposes, I'll look stuff up. And this is called granite stone. Well, it's going to be backwards, but it's called granite stone. It looks like it's never been used. Anyway, I looked it up, and folks like this brand, and it's got that speckly Teflon thing inside. So I picked this up, I don't know, for a few bucks. And so I thought this was a nice pan. The biggest thing about thrifting and reselling is you want to keep everything, you know. I'm always thinking, oh, wow, I could really use that. And then I go over here and I open this up, and well, you can't see from there. This is my pantry, but it's all pots and pans down in there. All pots and pans down in these drawers, and I'm thinking, oh, I guess I don't need that. Because I have 25 of the same things, you know. You remember the Little Mermaid movie where she's talking about her hairbrush and her combs and this and that, and she says, you know, such and such, and I have 20, you know. That's me. I have 20. So I have to be careful not to want to keep stuff. I can want to keep it, but I can't keep it. I have to list it and move it out. Because the reason I started doing this is when I retired, I got looking around, and I'm like, I mean, I have too much stuff in this house, too much junk around here. So I was just going to start taking it to the Goodwill or have a yard sale. And then I'm like, yard sales are so much work, and you know, you're selling stuff for a quarter. It's just really not worth the work. So I was really leaning towards taking stuff and donating it to the Goodwill and all. But then I got to looking, you know, well, I've always been a shopper on Poshmark and eBay and stuff like that. I used to sell my daughter's little baby like costumes and things like that on eBay way back in the day when eBay was just you know, barely there. And so, you know, when your internet sounded, you know, you got mail. That's when I started doing eBay. But it was just to sell a few little things or to buy a few little things. And but now I'm you know, I started listing my own stuff just to kind of try to get my house cleared out a little bit. And apparently people are still buying off eBay. So I sell on eBay and Poshmark and Mercari. And it's starting to pick up. I think I said in an earlier video, you know, I started back in February or March, and I'm, you know, it's coming along, especially for an old girl like me, and I'm having to get through the technology. Just like with these YouTube videos, I need to be able to edit, and there are things I need to do to these videos because they're so raw, but I don't know how to do them, so I've got to learn that. And you know, just if you can hang in there with me, these videos will get better. And hopefully I'll share some interesting things. But the one thing I wanted to share with you today is don't be afraid to rescue animals. Don't be afraid to get in with your local vet's office and say, yes, I'll foster. But just make sure that you set up with them that they, you know, they're going to actively help you find homes for these pets. And, you know, I've ended up in the rehoming, I've been a failure because they just end up staying with me, and that's not sustainable. It's expensive and it's hard and it's a lot of work, especially because rescues a lot of times coming off the streets. They don't have any manners. They're not potty trained. They're this, they're that. They have health problems. So a lot comes with the rescue. But don't be afraid of it, and get in with your local shelters and your vet's office and find out what the resources are that could help you to help a pet find a new home, or help somebody to understand they don't necessarily got to pay $5,000 for a dog or a cat or whatever. They can love one that is at the shelter just as much. So, well, I'll get off my soapbox and just to tell you guys to have a great day, and I love you, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye.